Hi everybody, I'm meteorologist David Paul. This is the KHOU 11 Weather Center in Houston, Texas. This is your Wednesday evening Atlantic tropical update. We'll be talking about the remnants of Sam, still going to be impacting Europe. We'll take a look at that. And then this tropical wave off the east coast is interesting in that it may struggle, but it may actually try to form into some sort of low pressure area. We'll look at the models. It's October the 6th. It's 2021. Where are we in the season so far? Normally, in an entire season, you get 14 named storms. That's the 30-year average. We've had 20 named storms so far. Normally, in an entire season, you get 7 hurricanes. We've had 7, but we've got a chunk of the season yet to go. We've had 4 major hurricanes, already above the normal of 3 for an entire season. And as we look at the forecast, this is Colorado State University's forecast. They forecast 18 storms. We're ahead of that. They forecast 8 hurricanes. We're about there. They forecast 4 majors. Right on the money so far, as long as we don't have another major. Hurricane season peaked September 10th. That's the statistical peak. Doesn't mean we're actually going to have the most storms on September the 10th. We are now here October 6th, and you can see we've got quite a bit of the season to go, although after late October, statistically, things really begin to get on the decline as far as any new tropical development. You'll also notice that we've had tropical development in every single month of the calendar year over time. We've actually had systems that have gone from December into January. I think that happened once. Okay, October tracks. If we're going to get a system in October, they most likely form here. That's because the waters are usually warmer here. Southwest Caribbean, what you have is the influence of the Gulf Stream in here, that warm channel of water. And that's probably why we've got a system that is trying to get going here off the East Coast. It might be able to feed off that warmer Gulf Stream water. Open Atlantic is possible, but getting less and less likely the further we move along in the season. This is the spot off the East Coast of the United States. It's got a 10% chance to form within the next 2 days, 20% chance within the next 5 days. So it's not a 0 chance. We'll take a closer look at that forecast in just a moment. Big picture, a couple of things. Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, nothing brewing out here tropical. We do have thunder showers here off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras, but nothing that's looking like it's forming a tropical low, nothing expected to form there. That's good for the United States and the Caribbean. And then the rest of the area of the Atlantic is quiet. Nothing new expected to form, at least over the next 5 days. If you look carefully at the loop run, that little swirl right here, that is the remnant low of what once was Major Hurricane Sam, and we'll take a look at what's going on with that in just a little bit. Let's start off the East Coast, and you can see once again these are surface streamlines, the winds. We've got a wave. There's the wave axis. At the moment it is an open wave in that it does not have winds that wrap around 360 degrees. Although that being said, you know, it's got a little spot down here where the winds are trying to close off a low, but they don't come around the backside. They're not coming in from the west and southwest. So we do not have a closed low at the moment. Let me get a better color so we can see this a little better. There we go. So here's our open wave. These are surface winds, in general blowing from east to west. There's the trough axis. It is an open wave. You can also see we've got the winds, the clouds going in exactly the opposite direction. That is because of the upper level winds up at 34,000 feet or so, 250 millibars. And you can see the winds blowing in exactly the opposite direction. That is wind shear. Winds blowing in different direction with height. So we have a sheared environment over that part of the Atlantic off the east coast of the U.S. It's being produced by this mid and upper level low sitting between Memphis and St. Louis. But that makes it much more unlikely that a tropical system can form in that sheared environment when you've got winds blowing across the top, especially of a developing system. It's a system that hasn't even formed yet. You know, it can just kind of keep ripping everything apart before anything can get very well organized. In a developed storm, instead of having a vertical, you've got a tilted shaft through the storm that disrupts the circulation and can weaken or completely rip apart a storm, depending on how strong that shear is. All that being said, the computer models, the GFS in yellow, the Euro in red, are interesting in that the GFS does try to close off a low out here. So let's take a look at what the models look like. We go forward in time into Thursday and Friday morning. Yeah, GFS says maybe we get a closed low out there. Maybe. It's a sheared environment. Maybe it's not quite able to close off a low, but maybe low pressure forms out here. And in fact, as we look at the euro, very broad area of low pressure. So something may just kind of try to fester down here. We might get a broad, maybe an exposed low, with the upper level winds blowing across that and exposing a surface low. That would be a low that really doesn't get much energy behind it. We go into Saturday and take a look especially at the GFS. It closes off several isobars, but look at the shape of this. See how it's elongated? We've got a very broad trough. That would indicate that we've got some upper level winds, and in fact, we can estimate what direction they'd be blowing. They'd be blowing almost due out of the south. That's interesting. So an elongated low area of low pressure is one that would be very slow to develop. It would be much less intense as a perfectly stacked symmetrical low pressure area. And the euro, yeah, it kind of suggests the same thing. A broad, elongated low may try to form out here. We go forward in time, and you can see what the American model does. It does close off a low, but still, look how it's elongated. That's an indication that we may get low pressure to form out here, but it will be elongated, and that means it's a weak, struggling to get organized area of low pressure. That goes into next Monday, further out in time. And again, when you see this type of pattern, it's the model's cutting off two areas of low pressure. They are connected by a closed isobar or two. That again is an elongated area of low pressure, an area of low pressure that is weak and struggling to organize. And the reason for that is the upper level wind pattern, which as we head into Sunday, and there it is. And in fact, it's out of the south, just like that surface low elongation was suggesting that it would be sheared from south to north. So we go into Sunday, we go into Monday, that trough is still out there. We go into Tuesday, that trough is still out there. And so with that type of a pattern, it's not out of the question that a little low pressure somewhere in here, elongated low, could try to form, but it's going to be difficult. But we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, for the Virginias, the Carolinas, coast of Georgia and Florida, that may end up being a rainmaker for you guys as we go through the next several days, through the weekend, and even into early next week. So that's what's going on with our little spot off the East Coast. Big picture again, you see how there's a little bit of a suggestion of a swirl up here. Remnants of SAM are still up here, south of Reykjavik. We'll put this into motion. We go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So here's Great Britain, Paris, Copenhagen. There's Iceland. And look at how we get this trough beginning to be dug out by the remnant surface low, which will be right in here. You're looking at the upper level streamlines, but look at how the remnant low helps to dig out that trough. So there's your trough axis at the upper levels. That is a very windy and wet northern islands of Great Britain going into Sunday. I'm a big soccer fan. I watch a lot of European soccer. It'll be interesting to see what the games look like, especially on Sunday, and up into Sweden and Norway. And then we go into Sunday. This is Sunday evening, and a deeper trough begins to develop. Snow west of Oslo. That's a very windy, chilly, drizzly, rainy Great Britain going into the end of this coming weekend. And then just to go a little further out, look at how this trough really digs down across and just dominates the European continent here. Prague to Rome to Paris, getting rain and wind. That's fall arriving big time. That's snow in the Alps. So winter is coming to Europe, at least a taste of it as we head into early next week. Meanwhile, United States, these are high temps today. Houston 89, Bismarck 85. Very warm across the lower 48. Canada, South Central Canada, still unusually warm. These are current temperatures as I talk here, 7:56. This is Central Time in the United States. Winnipeg, you're at 75. Had a high near 80 today at Winnipeg. Pickle Lake 67, Big Trout Lake 59. That's unusually warm. Prince Albert 59. I would imagine you guys are loving it across South Central Canada right now. Extended summertime. You've got freezing in Kugluktuk, Old Crow's 38, Barrow, Alaska's at 32. Winter has arrived up there. And as we look across to Siberia, it's cold. It's not bitter cold. You know, Cherski's 18 degrees, Bilibino's at 11, Leningradsky's 27, Zhuryanka's 28, 14 degrees, Aliskarovo. It's my best Russian. It's 14 degrees. But at the moment, what we don't have is a mechanism to get the cold air in Siberia across into Alaska and northwest Canada. The jet stream is too far to the south over the northern Pacific. There are the Aleutians, there's Alaska, here's the Kamchatka Peninsula. This is just to set your bearings. What we would want to see if we were going to see bitter cold air come out of Siberia and into North America is this jet core lifting up and into like a big rainbow. We want to see that jet making a big rainbow up in there, and we don't see that. So for the moment, the cold air, the really cold air, stays bottled up across Alaska and Siberia. That is windy and rainy and chilly Vancouver and British Columbia. Also probably Portland, Oregon, Seattle. That's the Pacific Ocean, that big jet streak coming in. That's a long, gloomy period for you guys up there this weekend. We go into Sunday. Monday, we do get a significant trough. Look at the snow across the northern Rockies in the United States. Utah, Wyoming. That's the first real significant snowfall of the season you guys are going to have there. And then we still have this pattern, a big ridge up into the eastern half of Canada, unusually warm. It's all liquid precipitation up here. Great Lakes, all liquid precipitation. And I told you I'd read your comments. I had a question last night about the Caribbean. Folks in the Caribbean would like to have some cooler air. Boy, do I understand that living here in Houston. We live for the first cool fronts to come in, what there are of them for Houston. And as we look at the pattern, you know, here's Cuba, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, San Juan, Puerto Rico. There are the islands of the Lesser and Greater Antilles. So as we look at the upper level pattern, this is actually a pattern that in winter can deliver a cold front down deep into the Caribbean. We've got a northerly flow with a big trough in the southern branch of the jet. However, at the moment, there is no cold air up in here in the eastern U.S. to deliver down into the Caribbean. So although you have the setup that can deliver a front, can help to drive a front down into the Caribbean, even if there were such a thing happening right now, and there's not, you don't have any cold air in place across Atlanta and the southeast United States. So you guys would want to see it get very cold here across the deep southeast U.S. before you could start dreaming about a cold front across the Caribbean. But they do happen a couple of times a year, and I know you're looking for a change of season like we all are, a little break from the heat. But at the moment, even though you've got the upper level pattern, there's no cold air to drive it down. You can see scattered showers suggesting that humidity levels will also stay rather high across the Caribbean. And as we look at NOAA's 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, eastern 2/3 of the United States forecast to be above average for the next couple of weeks. That trough out west bringing snow to the Rockies keeps it below average, and they get some beneficial snow across the Rockies over the next couple of weeks. That's where we stand across the tropics and Europe and Siberia and North America and Canada on this Wednesday evening. Question, comments, I read them, appreciate them, and we'll be back with you tomorrow for another update.